I'm out here in the Wichita Mountains. I'm fixing to do a little backpack scouting trip with my bow and just look around. I'm going to try to backpack in about 2 to 3 miles and set up a base camp. And I'm going to be using the Smokehouse Mini. So I thought I'd bring you along on this little trip. So it ought to be fun, and it's a weekend after the first of the year, 2021, and it ought to be fun. Drive back here a little ways, and then I'll get my pack out and hike the rest of the way. Okay, I'm going to backpack it in from here. It is youth hunt. This is the last day, so you do have to wear orange, so obviously I'm going to put some orange on, but I am going to scout out some areas. I'm going to go about 2 to 3 miles out, set up a base camp in a place that I think is going to be pretty good, and see if I can't find some deer. Thought I'd show you just kind of how I do it using a smokehouse. So let me show you my equipment. This is for hunting. Basically, I've got a Mystery Ranch Marshall 6500 liter. My stove is a Seek Outside stove. I took it out of their bag and I built me a bag so I can attach it to the side of my pack. And so this is everything that I need, plus a few extras. I will be bow hunting, so what I use also is a Roy Hall longbow. It is the Apache, I believe, and it's about a 50-pound bow. It's all I need. It's plenty to kill a deer, and I do fletch my own arrows and make them. So this ought to be a fun little trip, and thought I'd bring you along. So here we go. Having a blast, enjoying the time out here in the woods. Well, that's kind of straight down, so I'm thinking right over here might be the best way to go down. just walked in about a mile. Haven't seen really very good sign yet. I'm still looking. When I start finding some stuff, then I may set up a base camp in that area. But right now, I'm going to keep on going. I'm planning on going about 2 or 3 miles anyway, so it's a great place to hunt and a lot of fun. Yeah, let's see which way I'm going. I always like to carry a compass with me, be on the safe side. And I'm heading 80 degrees that way, right east. Okay, continue on. I did jump 2 does a while ago. I'm sure they're gone. I couldn't get the camera out in time. But yeah, fun to be able to see the deer. Anyway, it's a little bit thick in here. It's probably one of the little favorite bed down areas. But anyway, continuing on. Sounds like I'm coming up on a little old creek. Oh yeah, I see some water. Deep over here. I think I'll be able to cross right over there. Looks like a good spot. So I'm fixing to do a little bit of climbing. I'll climb up a little hill over here, set up camp, and enjoy the rest of the evening. So I ended up going a little further than I planned on. Ended up climbing this little old hill or mountain, whatever you want to call it. Get some elevation. Seen some good stuff. It is a little windier up here, but I like it. I did see some bear scat down here next to the creek, and I didn't feel like having to deal with that tonight. So I decided to go ahead and come up here, do a little climbing, and I'm quite a ways from the road, at least 4.5 miles or so. So yeah, like it. Pretty area. And I'm going to set up the smokehouse probably right over there somewhere, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay, so instead of climbing to the top of this thing, I decided to stay down here a little bit to stay out of the wind. And so I think I'm going to hang from this tree here to this tree here. So it's not completely level, but you know what? I'm in a hammock, so it really doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about being level on the ground. So it ought to be good. It's not too much of an incline, and go from there. So I did mean to tell you a little bit about this hunting pack. To me, this thing is awesome when it comes to carrying heavy loads. I'm not carrying a super heavy load up here. It's about 32 pounds total. And I'm going to be honest, the pack weighs about 8 pounds itself. Most of this stuff in here is down, and a lot of lightweight stuff that I'm carrying. And what I do a lot of times with this pack is when I take it hunting, if I kill something, I can take all that down and stuff like that and pack it in these pockets in the back, the pockets in the top, and that way the whole compartment inside is free if I need it. And then plus the pack separates from the frame over here, so I can bring the bag away from the frame and pack it on a shelf also that way. So there's many ways to haul the meat out with elk or deer with this pack. Again, it looks like it's heavy right now. It looks like it probably weighs 60-70 pounds, but it doesn't. It's about 32 pounds or so right now, and that's with everything on it. So I'm fixing to unload it, get the smokehouse out, and have some fun. So it took me about 5-6 minutes to put the smokehouse up, and this is the Smokehouse Mini, 5 foot tall, 11 foot long at the ridgeline, and I still got to put the stove and pipe in, but this one right here has a 3-inch opening. See what it looks like. You can see that the fiberglass cloth is double sewed over there close to the pipe. I do have the center support pole in. You can see right here, it's inside underneath, and it's right at the level of this pole to help support it. It is pretty windy out here, so I felt like that I needed to go ahead and put it in and just help with the wind. So this is a Seek Outside large stove. I've got it kind of pulled apart, and I just wanted to show you a few tricks that I did when backpacking it in. I built this little thing here to wrap around the pipe and the damper, and then I put the screws and all that stuff in here. Also bring some extra just in case, and also have the legs tucked away in here as well. Some of the tricks that I do make things a little quicker. I go ahead and have this end piece on, and then I have 2 nuts tightened against each other so that it doesn't move. So all I got to do is slide this into the stove itself, put the wing nut on, and then I'm done. That way you don't have to fight with trying to get everything adjusted. So that's the way I do that. The damper usually put on the end of this pipe for transporting, and then I've got so to start back with this, the damper I've got right here, I'll put this and slide this back into it, and I also built out of baling wire a little ring, because when it's windy and stuff, it wants to pull the pipe out of your stove a lot of times with a small little stove like this, as small and light as it is. So I built a little ring out of baling wire and put some loops on it, so I can put right up against the fiberglass cloth, so it doesn't slide down, it stays tight, and it pulls the roof up a little bit, so it won't pull the pipe out of your stove. So that does help a lot when doing that, and I'll show it to you when I've got everything set up. Okay, up here in the Ouachita Mountains, got the pipe in, stoves in, Smokehouse Mini. Don't have the hammock in yet, but I wanted to show you what I've done here for the stove. So it's about 8 foot from one end to the other on this Mini, 11 foot at the ridge line, and about 7 foot from the walls. You can see the center support pole going from the bottom of this Smokehouse Mini to the top, and then over to the wall. This is a Seek Outside large stove, and the damper on these things are loose as a goose. I mean, they are loose and they won't stay put for nothing. So I took some baling wire and I wrapped it put a little loop on this back end, then I wrap it around on this side, and I wrap it around a couple of times, and then I come over here with a little extra. That way it's nice and tight. That way when I move it, it's where it's at. And then if worse comes to worse, I've got a little loop right here that I can, if it's bad windy, I can tie this to a stake on the ground and my pipe won't get pulled out for sure. Because it is a titanium foil and it is pretty light. But another thing that I do is, I was telling you about the loops at the top. There's my loops right there. It lifts the tent up a little bit and it keeps it from falling in, and that way it can't pull the pipe out. It won't bounce back and forth when the wind is really bad. It just stays to the top. It also helps with the rain also. If you have problems with the rain trying to leak in, it helps a lot with that. But again, this is a large, and yeah, fixing to put the hammock in, and then I've got to go get some wood. Looks like it's going to be a cold night, and I got to get going. Okay, got the hammock all in, down all in it, down under quilt, top quilt. Everything's set up, plenty of room. Long bows on this side with an arrows out of the way. Backpack over here in case I need something out of it. And this is it. Stove. It's going to be comfortable tonight. I think the lows are going to be about mid-20s Fahrenheit. And windy up here still. I knew it was going to be. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So I've got to get the bob saw over there and start cutting some wood and before it gets dark on me. Got a little bit of wood cut so far. I still got some more to cut. Trying to find some dry wood. It rained quite a bit the other day, and a lot of this wood's wet, so I'm having to try to cut it and then try to split some of it if I can. But this is it going, and I got to split some wood. I've got just a great big knife I've got to try to split it with. They just don't get any better than this. So, got the wood all cut. Some of it I had to split. And Paula was gracious enough to cook me some salmon patties before I left. I'm trying to eat better. So, what I'm doing is I chopped them all up and got this little MSR skillet. Fry it up a little bit. Stove doing great. It's a nice thing about the stove. I mean, you can open up that damper and it'll get going big time. And you close the damper and it shuts it down pretty quick. So that's one good thing about the stove is it fires up quick and it shuts down quick. So I like that about the damper. Anyway, yeah, smelling good. Starving to death. Hadn't ate since this morning. And Nice and warm. I think it's probably mid-30s outside right now. And here it's probably about 70, I'm guessing. Sitting on a little tie-back cloth. Usually I normally use that for my floor. And I brought me a treat also. Normally I don't do this, but you know what? It's New Year's, and yeah, I didn't bring the alcohol. I used that New Year's Eve day. So I'm trying to be good. So brought me a 7-Up, 0 sugar. So just kind of a little bit of a treat. Anyway, fixing to eat, and I will holler at y'all in a little bit. Good stuff. Salmon patty roll up. Really good. Should be those freeze-dried meals. Just laying here. Man, it is so nice. It's cold outside. I think it's in the upper 20s. It's about 62, 63. I had to put some new wood in, or some more wood in. Anytime you add wood to this thing, it wants to die down a little bit. That's just the way stoves are. But it'll build back up, heat back up. Nice and toasty in here. Laying in a hammock. Plenty of room. There's that support. Middle support. It's nice and warm in here. It's 5 foot. I think this color is olive also. 1.1 Steel Poly 4000. No condensations that I can see. Of course, there could be in the morning, I don't know. These stoves, this right here is a large, and it's good for about 2 hours if I don't put any wood in it. And believe me, I'm not going to be putting wood in it all night, so I've got a pile of little small twigs over there to get it started in the morning. It will go out on me during the night, and when I wake up, I'll throw some twigs in it because I don't want it to burn very long. Just long enough to warm up a little bit and get things fixed up, and then I'll break things down and get going. So, just a good 15-20 minute fire is all I want. Anyway, man, you just can't beat this. I accidentally hit the button and turned it off. Anyway, like I said, you just can't beat it. I mean, I'm just relaxing here. I hear a jet flying over me right now. My tie back. Floor. Plenty of room. And the nice thing about a 5 foot is it, even though it's not 6 foot tall, I mean, the thing weighs 3 pounds. Stove weighs 3 pounds. So we're talking, 6 pounds. But then the poles weigh a little bit too. They probably weigh about a half a pound or so for 3 of those poles in this one center support pole. Still, heated shelter. Total weight about 6.5 pounds with stove and shelter. It's just hard to beat. So watching one of Shug's videos the other day, and he was out there in minus 40 degrees Can't believe it, man. I just, boy, he's a polar bear. Woke up, had frost all over his face. Man, when I wake up, I'm going to have this thing going. It ain't going to be no minus 40 in here. Anyway, I'm going to lay back and I'm going to enjoy the hammock and just chill out for a while. Listen to the night sounds. So yeah, I'm just showing the difference between stove and the wall and the stove and hammock. Plenty of room. And on top of that, I think it's 28 degrees outside. And let's see. 68 degrees in here. And that's not against the stove, that's way over here on the other side. Feeling good. It's chilly, cold out here. Wind is just getting it. Yep. Good morning. Well, it's kind of early in the morning still, but I'm up. It's been windy all night. Stove did go out. It's chilly in here, but it did great. I'm sure it's colder outside. It's still windy. I did fire the stove back up, put a little bit of wood, and trying to get it going. But I'm going to lay here for a little bit longer, pack up, and then head back. Smokehouse Mini did great, and yeah, I like it. I'll see y'all later.